Thank you for joining us for this episode of That Solo Life, the podcast for PR pros and marketers who work for themselves. People like me, Michelle Kane with Voice Matters, and my wonderful co host, Karen Swim of Solo PR Pro. Hey, Karen, how are you today?
Hello, Michelle. I'm doing very well. Thank you. How are you?
I am well, thank you. Yes, the weeks are flying by. 2024, we're looking at the end of 2024. It's coming up faster than we want to acknowledge. But, with that, you start to think, hey, how was business this year? How can I keep
Yeah.
my business development flowing, And so we just want to talk a little bit about that today from the point of view of I know we're always counseling our clients, sure, there's earned media, but how can we, take more control of that own media? And today we're going to turn the mirror on ourselves. How can we take,
hmm
you know, start to do things for ourselves? Like, do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have your own channels? And how often are you using them to share your expertise, to share helpful information, all that good stuff? So we're going to dig into that a little bit today. It should be fun.
Yeah. It was interesting. I saw a newsletter from the Smart Gets Paid podcast, Leah Neaderthal, I believe is her last name. And she shared that the majority, because her audience is women consultants, and she said the majority of women consultants get their clients from just waiting for somebody to report
Mm,
to them. So it's very passive. And it just, that's not the best way. I know that's true
yeah.
of PR too, is that most PR people, even large agencies, do not have a marketing lead generation engine built. They really do not. They do
Right.
not do all of the things that we know are the right things to do. And we as solos don't do that. And so going into 2025, it's probably time to start, thinking about doing something differently.
I agree. I agree. That's so true, right? I can't tell you how many times I've said, do what I say, not what I'm doing.
Yeah. And I
Don't,
get it.
don't
It
look over here.
Yeah, it gets really tough in our minds. It's not impossible. It just gets really tough in your mind because it feels like another overwhelming task to add to your list. But hopefully, we can share some ways to make that a little bit easier as well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, and it's as simple as, what are you doing for your own social media? What are you doing with your own channels? Where are you sharing your expertise? Where, it could be low-hanging fruit of just being seen and being found. I know I am supremely guilty of that. And I think a lot of times for those of us who've been at this for a while, it's a little bit of fatigue. You're like, it's enough to do my client's social. It's enough to put out content for them and then keep up with my friends as myself. And then there's that segment over there of, well, you really need to be consistent on your own channels. And I think of what I tell one of my local clients, I just say, "Oh, just hop on your pages, once a day and just say, "Hey, good morning everyone. Life's good here at XX retail store," kind of thing. And I think, okay, why am I not doing that for myself? I mean, even if it's like, use your YouTube channel. Are you using your YouTube channel? Did you claim your YouTube channel?
That's very true. And I
Yeah.
think one of the first things that I would say is look at how you're spending your time.
Yeah.
You have more time than you realize.
Yes.
So, Michelle and I have talked about this offline, and it's that guilty feeling that we as independent business owners have. We're busy and we always, are looking and thinking about our clients and about putting in work.
Yeah.
But are you spending too many hours on clients? You have to break down your time into billable hours.
Yeah.
And I think that for a lot of us, we still it's hard to shake that workplace mentality of
Yes.
giving 40 hours to your job or more because, let's face it, most of us in corporate America who came from that world worked 50, 60 hours a week. And so it is very difficult to shake that mindset and think about, well, if I break down the billable hours, that's a fraction of my week. And if I truly stuck to that, I have a lot of time to do business development. I just am busy and I'm doing other things. And so I think, as you grow as a business person, and for me, this has been a lesson that I've had to relearn
Oh,
this,
yeah.
teach myself not to overwork because I'm not getting paid to do that. And I actually have a lot more time available than it looked like I had.
Yeah, yeah, and that looks like a lot of things, right? That's over servicing your clients, easily getting distracted by what you think, "Well, I'm doing things all day, this is productive," but really, you really need to schedule time for yourself and for your business. I know for myself, it's like and I know it's like cutting off my own oxygen of not planning, just thinking time because it feels so indulgent and luxurious and not worthy, but oh my goodness, it is. It really is. So I think it's
And
important that we all remember that.
Yeah. And so start with looking at how you're spending your time and reclaiming those hours, and then start to get smart about using automation and tools. So,
Yeah,
Mark Cuban, who is undoubtedly a very successful CEO, and other really successful CEOs are taking advantage of AI automation tools to manage their inboxes.
yeah,
I use a tool as well, and we'll talk about that later, that organizes my email for me so that it gets rid of all the noise. And so some people are using Gemini, some people are using the Google workspace tools, but that's a good way to reclaim time. So
yeah,
look at how can I use automation and tools to take away some of these administrative things. You do not have to do every single thing in your business. We have got to get smarter. We have to pull
yeah,
the trigger
yeah,
on things that big businesses are using as well. And the reason that we're doing that is because you're actually putting money back into your pocket because you're giving yourself time.
yeah,
And we have to have time to work on the business. So that, I mean, even before the business development starts, it's you have to do for your business what everyone else is doing, and having things that can run parts of your business a little more effortlessly. So
yeah,
creating that workflow.
yeah. No, it's so true. I mean, that is valuable, and it certainly you have to set the table, right? You have to
Yes,
set the table so that when you do get that new business, you're ready to hit the ground running and you're not bogged down. I think it's so
yes,
easy to get bogged down,
it
uh,
is.
you know,
It is. And
and
then, I mean, you said it, like your YouTube channel and your social media. I think it's really sitting down and strategically thinking about, and
yep,
making a strategic plan for your own business. Doesn't have to be super involved, but you should have
right,
a plan. Where is going to have the most impact for me? Where's
right,
my audience? Do the same thing for yourself as you
yeah,
do for your clients. How do you show up in the spaces of the people that need and want what you have to offer? So that might mean, looking at columns, looking at, bylining articles. It could
yeah,
mean, being a guest on podcasts. It could mean, doing a YouTube channel, or doing, there's a lot of PR pros that are using TikTok to their advantage.
yeah,
It could mean doing reels. And even with all of those things, we also have tools that can help us make that a lot easier. There's so many great AI tools. StreamYard, for instance, which is the platform that Michelle and I use for the podcast. You do a video and it will generate clips from that video for you. So think about, you do a
yeah,
piece of content, you use AI to chop it up and to give you captions and to do all of the hard work for you. 10 minutes later, you have content, five or six pieces of content from one thing that you did. We have to start thinking smarter like that. And then that allows you, now you have some clips that you can put out on social media and you could use in different ways. And so
yeah.
just think about what is going to work best for your audience, how they like to hear from you, and then be consistent at that. But then look at what tools can make this job a little bit easier. Are there things that can streamline my process?
Yeah, so true. And what I'm about to say is nothing new and it's nothing we don't know, but sometimes we have to retell it to ourselves, right? Because as I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, that's great, that's awesome. And I can imagine listeners thinking, oh yeah, but what? What do I talk about? And it's like what I tell clients. You don't have to have 60 topics every month. choose a theme for the month and feed off of that, right? You can make your stuff live longer by boosting it and give a little money. I mean, this doesn't have to be a massive undertaking of time and energy. It really doesn't. It's just, I think it's just all of us promising to ourselves to get started and then just being, as consistent as possible. And we
Well,
get it.
again, I'm going to keep inserting automation and
Yeah.
tools in here because
Yeah.
they can streamline your efforts. We are so fortunate that this is something that AI is actually pretty good at. I use Perplexity AI for this kind of stuff rather than Chat GPT, but Chat GPT works as well, or any other tool that you're using. Arc is another one.
Yeah.
Ask AI what the challenges or problems that your audience is facing. You can help with ideation by using AI. And now you're
Yeah.
not just sitting there going, huh, what do I talk about?
Yeah.
Now you're actually asking it to come up and, so what I have been doing since last year is I'll say, give me 10 topics that X is interested in. And then it generates stuff. And then your brain starts to work and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I can take this and I can do this with it. And now you can plan out an entire content calendar for the year in
Yeah.
about an hour worth of time. And now you're once you have those, overarching topics, then you're going to dig a little bit deeper, but
Yep.
use automation to help you with this. Use AI for that. You do not have to do the heavy lift on every single task. And again, I really believe that if we go into this new year, which should start now because that takes a lot of the pressure off,
Yeah.
looking at ways that you can become more efficient with your time and even with your business development efforts, you'll be a lot more successful and not stressed because we all want to have a peaceful business that works for us.
Yeah, agree. I can't agree more. And you're so right. I know many of us like to, during the holidays, take some time off, and that's great. But use part of that slow season to prepare to kick off 2025, ready to go. I think that's a perfect use of your time. And it's kind of inspiring. Sometimes we need these sessions with ourselves to get
Yes.
excited about our work again. And we do need that from time to time too. And when we're operating from that point, that position, we're only going to be that much better for our client work.
I agree. And, listen, for some of us, the new year has already started and, you're in your new year. You don't have to wait until the
No.
clock strikes midnight on December 31st. You can
Yep.
start right now and start the year that you really want to have and, set your goals and just start to go after them now. It's not too late to do that. And then you don't feel that pressure of January and the post holiday slump. And then you really can enjoy the holidays because you're
That's
already
true.
working towards the business that you want to have and working on the goals that you set for yourself. So, be smart about your time is really the key to being more consistent in your business development efforts because there is business out there. There's still people that are hiring.
Yep.
There's still, work for all of us, but you need to be consistent in your efforts and stay on the radar.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Well, now we know what we're all going to be up to in the coming weeks. So we want to hear from you. Send us your wins.
Yeah.
Send us things you're perplexed about. Hit us up at soloprpro.com because we want to hear from you guys. We want to know how it's working for you and just what's going on in your worlds because that helps us all be better. And if you got something out of our time together today, which we hope you did, please do share this around. Please hop over to the Google and give us a review. We would love that as well. And until next time, thanks for listening to That Solo Life.